Hi, really excited to be taking part in CogX this year, and alongside that to be recognised as Createch One to Watch business here in the UK. Just a short intro to us, the speakers. I'm Daniel Cheetham. I've worked with digital technologies most of my career. Prior to that, I had a soulless stint working in finance and capital markets that we tend not to reference. Over the past nearly 10 years, much of my focus has been around merging creative technologies. I grew the innovation and immersive technology services at Happy Finish pretty much from a standing start, and have spoken at many events about the potential and impact of immersive technologies and machine learning. I'm joined by Dr. Marchesi, my co-speaker today and partner in crime at HF. Marco is our talented CTO, working in advanced technologies for mixed reality. That's actually his PhD title. Having also spent time with Apple on the Siri team, Marco is focused on helping us build the next generation of content tools using machine learning, spatial computing, and real-time technologies. At HF, we have a 15-year plus heritage of creating extremely high-end content and experiences. From the beginnings, working with fashion brands on front cover work, fashion clients are still a massive part of our DNA. We're used to using post-production and pre-rendered CG techniques, more recently employing immersive technologies, real-time engines, machine learning, and computer vision expertise to create visions of reality that engage attention. Our mission is to be the most reputed creative technology and content business on the planet. It's a big goal. Over the past 15 years, most of our work has been for brand clients and in the advertising and marketing space. In the most part, we're in some way recreating the real world for some medium or another, often creating new versions of reality. Just a few examples, like this work with Adam and Eve DDB for PlayStation, compositing CGI game characters into photographically shot environments. Or this work for Nike, one of our key clients, alongside Wyden Kennedy, where we bring players and fans from all around the world together in a final image to promote the Women's World Cup. And quite often, we see reactions that prove to us just how impactful our versions of reality can be on the end consuming human. Like this project, where we give people the immersive feeling of sliding around the exterior of the top of the Shard here in London at virtual speeds of over 100 miles per hour. Here's a reaction.
There you go.
Anyway, enough of the background, on to what we wanted to share with you all today. I'll lead in with a quote. I always like a quote in a presentation. To introduce this one, I thought this quote worked. It's from Rutger Hauer's character Roy Batty in Blade Runner. Over the past few years, as we've employed AI, and specifically machine learning in what we do, we often joked that it would be cool to recreate ourselves as clones that would look, sound, and think as we do. A non-trivial task and not something we'd ever promise a client that we could do. Yet, in any case, in the spring of 2019, when we were considering to submit a topic for South by Southwest 2020, we decided we would go for it and propose a human cloning experiment. Go big or go home. So we started to map out how we might tackle creating a digital clone that visually, audibly, and emotionally represented one of us. Alessandra, one of our creative technologists, was bravely up for being the subject matter, so we submitted the idea. Rather than me tell you about it, this is a video submission where Ale will tell you what the idea was.
Hello! Today is the first day of a very long and introspective journey. I'm gonna be recording myself every day for the next 6 months, handing over my phone data, answering questions, and vlogging about my day-to-day life in the hopes to gather enough information about myself to create a digital AI clone. Now, the reason we want to gather so much data is we want to explore how accurate can my clone be? How far can we test machine learning? Will it adopt my own values? Will it agree with the same things I do? Will it even want to be vegetarian? Will it know my subconscious better than me? Or will it become a stranger with its own mind? With the help from the machine learning team at Happy Finish, we want to come to South by Southwest and present our findings. We want to hold a conversation on stage between me and my version 2.0 to test how similar or different our views are. We want to see how me and my clone respond to the same topics, analysed any trends, see if there's any mistakes it might make, any mistakes I might make. And finally, we want to open the floor to the audience so that they can ask questions to both me and the clone in the hopes of getting to a very engaging and provocative futuristic discussion. I'm going to start my first entry now. Today, 17th, approximately 11 a.m. I got to work today.
Ale bravely gave us over 4 years of her Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp data and agreed to submit video and audio recordings for the course of the experiment, running to over 20 hours. With one caveat: please ignore anything illicit. Okay, enough of me. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Marco now, who's going to talk a little to the techniques we used in the experiment.
Thanks, Daniel. So we had to tackle 3 separate problems: conversation, voice, and visual representation of Alessandra, our creative technologist. We leveraged the capabilities of cloud computing and GPU power to do so, as the end goal was to create a system able to interact with the user in real time using natural language. So how everything works. We basically collect the data from the video blogs and the social media, and then we had a training process that was particularly challenging as we ran several iterations as the data came to us from Alessandra in a completely unstructured form. So we have to feed the system through 3 separate tracks, as you can see: face, voice, and conversation, as no machine learning architecture at the moment was able to cover all the tasks together. At the end, of course, what we had a generation task, a generation process. That is where we create the clone, the AI clone of Alessandra. One point I want to make clear is that the end result came from the training of raw data, and we didn't want to manipulate at all by using, for example, computer graphics. So our approach was to see and explore how current technology can create digital avatars using a pure probabilistic approach. Without going into much detail, I want to give a high-level description of the couple of interesting techniques that we use. The first one is called generative adversarial networks. It emerged 6 years ago and represents the state of the art for photorealistic image generation. It works in this way. We have 2 neural networks that they evolve against each other. The first one, called generator, creates fake images from noise, as you can see from here. Such images, and then basically the images, as you can see, such images are then reviewed by a discriminator together with the real face of the subject, in this case Alessandra. So the discriminator judge each images and say if it's a real or a fake one, based on the current knowledge that it has. This feedback goes to the generator that uses this information to improve his ability to generate fake images and cheat the discriminator. This can, at the same time, the discriminator refine his skills of recognizing fake images. So it's kind of a mind game between neural nets. They generate the frame at the end of Alessandra's clone. The other technique that I want to mention is called transformer. Transformer became the top choice for training natural language models, and they have been applied successfully also to computer vision tasks recently. They are constituted by encoders and decoders. The encoders block, they translate the question that the user asks. For example, in this case, what do you like? And they basically translate into a mental language for, let's say, machine understanding. And the decoders has basically the task to translate that and convert into human understanding, convert the answer that is relative to this question. Self-attention is basically how the transformer use and works to link other relevant words into the one we are currently processing, in order to keep track of insightful relationship between them, but in a most efficient way, and providing also a better parallelism compared to previous technique. Another concept that we need to think about is the persona. Persona is basically the set of instructions, the set of statements that basically conditionate the conversation. And so, as you can see from this, the conversation, a simple question like, what do you like? Receive an answer like, I like ski and ice creams, because the persona contain the sentence, I do like ice cream. So the personality, kind of all the personal history of the user, as we did for Alessandra, is contained into this personal knowledge. So, from a conversation that we had with Alex Clone, it was unquestionable they was showing some sort of personality, but I would say it was debatable they was really Alessandra. So, of course, we left this project. We saw new interesting project approach that was rising in the machine learning community, and they captured our attention. Blunderbot was a new chatbot released by Facebook in April. They show improvement in terms of empathy and personality. That was measured by comparing the system with other bots and determine the engagedness, for example, how you prefer to talk with. And as you can see, basically, this is the kind of path that we will love to follow. Find a way to make this bot and this AI clone more engaging, but also more personal and more and closer to the user. It was something that we were a bit missing. New technique emerge continuously, of course, and we are excited to work more in this space and see how we're going to evolve our system in the future. Over to you, Dan, again.
Unfortunately, C19 forced South by Southwest to be canned, and as the experiment was always sort of an extracurricular activity for us, above and beyond our day jobs, which are pretty busy, we put the project on hold. When we set out on this experiment, we knew that we would unlikely get to a true emotional, visual, and audible representation of Ale. That would take more time, more people, and tech advancements to achieve, and we can assume that the likes of Google, Apple, and good old Elon are way ahead of us on that. However, as we progressed through the testing iterations, it did become clear that what initially felt like a tech piece of fun for us was starting to become pretty unnerving. It got to the point where we actually felt we had to offer Ale, if she needed it, emotional support and potentially counselling. She didn't, she's a tough cookie. The questions it raised was really around our data trail and how it could be utilised to create a representation of us, and how that is fuelled by how we present ourselves digitally to the world over time. And it's not necessarily how we truly are or how we would want to be immortalised should, or rather when, cloning actually becomes a thing. This is an example of a resulting conversation, one of the early ones between Ale and Ale 2.0. It's a bit creepy. A lesson we have taken away is be careful how you present yourself digitally. One day it may come back to say hello.
I am afraid of what I'm going to do.
Are your parents alive?
They're dead.
Do you believe in an afterlife?
Yes. Believe in that.
What do you think the afterlife is going to look like?
I think will be a loving thing.
Now, only a few months after we mothballed the experiment, the questions around digital versions of ourselves and the world around us seem more relevant than ever. The world is feeling like quite a different place. I think we probably all feel somewhat more distant in a physical way and more reliant on technology to keep us connected. The words reset and a new normal are being used a lot. If there really is a chance to find a new normal that is better than the one before, then we must use this time as a catalyst for change and leverage innovation to make a better future. To give some real-world context, I'll use the fashion industry as an example where virtualization and digital twinning can bring material benefits, both commercially and from a positive societal impact perspective. Some key big issues in fashion. Well, we know that a number of fashion brands, most, are aiming for net zero by 2050. This is not really as ambitious as it could be, in my opinion. We also know that fashion is one of the world's oldest industries, and that now, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, produces 10% of carbon dioxide emissions and uses around 1.5 trillion litres of water annually in its production processes, making it somewhere in the top 5 polluting industries. We're already working on solutions based on our expertise in digital twinning, using real-time 3D assets, immersive tech, and machine learning. Can we improve supply chain and sampling processes by introducing visual rather than physical samples for retail partner sales? Yes, we're already doing it. Can we prompt better, more accurate, enlightened e-commerce and retail purchase decisions with customers using virtual assets and AR, reducing returns and limiting the disposability of purchases? Yes, we're doing it already. Can we better align design practice, speeding up time to market, and bringing greater efficiency using the same virtual assets early on in the design process that will be used throughout the design to end consumer content process? Yes, we're already doing it. These are just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the benefits that product-based digital twinning or cloning can bring. So finally, let's all take time to matrix how we can use our creative and technical expertise to effect positive change. Now is the time to do so.